Hello, my name is Jennifer Miles. I'm a student in EDL 830 college teaching with the instructor, Dr. Sherwood Thompson. Today, I would like to take about 10 to 15 minutes in presenting to you data that was collected for an assignment entitled The Teacher Interview in Higher Education. This assignment was completed on June 19th of 2017. The methods in which this assignment was completed was a qualitative interview in which the goal was to gain a professor's experience, their views, and their feelings about college teaching. In addition to that, the key was to frame 18 questions to where I wanted to be sure to obtain information about college teaching, such as framing questions like who, what, when, where, why, and so forth. It is to note that for this assignment, ethical approval form was not needed because the participant was not under the age of 18. In addition, they did not have a disability. And last but not least, they also too were not in a vulnerable group. So the analysis of this interview is for the fulfillment of the assignment, in addition for data collection that will be used towards my dissertation, and last but not least, just really for the guidance as I continue my career in higher education. The instrument that was used for this interview, which will later, a link will be shown to where you can watch the entire interview session, was an iPhone product. And in addition to that, a laptop to where notes and information was collected. So getting started, the first question that was posed to the interviewee was to tell a little bit about yourself, in addition to what motivates you to enter teaching as a profession. So with that being said, my interviewee was Dr. James Obielodan. Dr. Obielodan, he is a professor in the School of Business at Kentucky State University. In addition to that, he also is the Director of Graduate Studies. He has been in that position as a Director of Graduate Studies for the last 2 years. Prior to that, he came to Kentucky State University in 2001. He does hold 5 different degrees. He has a bachelor's from a school in Nigeria, Ibajoa, and the degree is a bachelor's at Theological Seminary. He also has a bachelor's from Wheaton College. He also has a master's from Michigan State University, a MBA from Michigan State University, and a PhD from Michigan State University. In addition, from teaching, he's been a full professor since 2009, and he's taught a number of business classes, which later will be discussed and highlighted. Some of the key accomplishments from Dr. James Obielodan is that he served as the MBA program coordinator, and he also was the interim chair for the School of Business from 2005 to 2008. He was awarded the Faculty Fellow Award at the Center for Innovation in Teaching, Learning, and Assessment, called CITLA, at Kentucky State University, and he is a well-known published researcher, and he has presented at over 250 conferences here within the U.S. So when I asked the question about what has been your teaching background, what type of experiences, Dr. Obielodan had expressed that he has taught in a variety of fields, such as in management information systems, business statistics, quantitative methods, business databases. He's done classes in computer science, which he received a degree in, and those were concerning database administration. He also did a survey of management as well as a survey of marketing. In addition to that, he's has taught in different modalities, such as he's taught majority traditional classes, but as well, he's also taught classes online. In addition to that, he also has where he has created his first ever program, the MBA Online, where he has taught classes that were in both the MBA and those classes were on campus as well as online. So it is to note here that although the university does not have an online MBA program, Dr. James Obielodan is in the process of assisting the chair, whom is Dr. Abdul Turay, in getting the program started. So in addition to that, continuing on, questions number 4, we asked, what is your belief on active learning? We do understand that active learning as well as educative type learning is very helpful in getting students to be academically successful. So Dr. James Obielodan mentioned that his curriculum involves presenting case studies, and he does put students into groups to fulfill these assignments. And he allows students to be able to reflect individually when working in group, when doing group case studies. And he always provides rubrics for these assignments so that students are very clear and understanding what is needed. He did give the example that in groups, he allow students to be able to select what roles they want to play, such as like say an editor, where they'll be that person will synthesize the information. And he said the reason for this is to be sure that students understand how to learn to work with one another, and also to expose them to like globalization and business structure. His main point when it comes to active learning is that he is interested in being sure that students are prepared to work in real life business careers. So let's see, with that being said, he also lastly wanted to be sure that students understood what was required of them. And he mentioned something on the lines of voluntary compository, which means if you don't do it, then you're going to run into a problem. So he said the great thing is that his students are always so excited to get the work done and to do a good job. So in addition to that, he also want to be question number 5, how do educators construct curriculum, and how did he go about with being sure that the directly links to outcomes, literacy strategies, town and gown activities, and learning about democracy. So with that being said, Dr. Obielodan mentioned that curriculum meets all of the business standards for the AASBN, and also that his curriculum and all of his support resources, such as Blackboard, is all linked to all the course outcomes as well. And in addition to that, he stated that there is chapters in the book where they cover democracy, and that information allows students to be able to go a little further in understanding how to going forth and learning more about aligning business and democracy together. He gives an example of how he does that. Democracy, that is where he allows students to do a case study about the use of social media and how it plays a role in government and business functions, such as what happened with the promoting of elections, not right now the investigation with what happened with the elections, but rather how was the use of social media, how it played a role in the promoting of elections, and also how politicians go about use of social media. So he allowed his students to do case studies pertaining to situations of the like. In addition to that, he also mentioned that his goal is to expose students to as much and as many different case studies as possible that gears towards democracy. So Question number 6, what are your views on academic freedom? So this question was really deep. Here we learned that Dr. Obielodan stated that students have rights, and those rights is that they should be able to express themselves as well as to one another, as long as they are not disrespecting one another's opinions. And also, too, he requires that all students are to back up their opinions by using citations, and that is to be done in APA style. Because students are given rubrics, they do understand what's required of them. So even when giving their opinion and expressing themselves based upon their amendment rights, he is making sure that he's tying it back to the assessment and the outcomes of that assignment and for the course. He quoted by saying that he want to be sure that the information that students present, like when they're giving their opinions, is current, and that the information is important, so that they are learning from one another. In other words, they're just not just shooting the breeze and just sharing information that is not knowledge worthy, and that there should be some quality to the information that they are presenting. Question number 7, what do you think is the purpose of education, and what makes education in a democracy unique? So here we learned that when it comes to what is education, he stated that education is a means in which socially knowledge is being shared. And he was very keen in giving a specific area of research that he's focused on since he was in college. And that was the theory of zone of proximal development. It's also known as ZPD from Leave Rostock. Okay, one more time. And the name here that I'm giving is Lev Vygotsky. And there was a famous theorist in the 1800s in Russia that stated that the difference between what a learner can do without help is different as opposed to what he or she can do with help. So Dr. Obielodan stated that, we're dealing with empty vessels, like stating a person itself in terms of learning, like our minds. You're dealing with a empty vessel. And here, the goal is what the person may not know at the instructor's level. It is the instructor's goal to bring that learner to increase levels. So we interact with bodies, and meaning collectively our students, that is. So with these bodies together, we can apply and build knowledge. So I thought that was pretty good, pretty good point there. And then also he stated again that education is social. So going into this, he also had went into giving some information, and I wanted to show a very short clip of that information that he presented to. He presented. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go and I'm going to share my screen now so that you can be able to see and to hear.
In their role in making a difference in the world. Students have to see the relevance of what they are learning in practical application and relevance of the knowledge they acquire for learning the realities around them. If they don't see the value of what they are learning in terms of how it applies to them, how they will enable them to succeed in life, they are not going to motivate to learn. So, for example, my son is going to 7th grade. Okay. It's fun time. Look, fun. And this summer, for the parents. And this summer, I expect him to create PowerPoint presentation to teach the rest of the family. The human body system. Wow. So you will have to learn the major organs of the body, like the liver and so on, and then create a PowerPoint presentation to teach the rest of us in the family what And then the question he asked, why do I need to learn it? Because I'm not learning this in school yet. So why do I need to learn it? Because when I get to school, I will have to learn it again. And if I don't learn it properly, then I will have this learn by the time I get to school. So, and then we heard that some kind of family there.
Yeah. But what I love is that he has some responsibility to think.
Well, I have responsibility to teach the family, but he also has responsibility to challenge you. Why do I tell me, give me one reason why I should do it instead of playing video game? And of course, I have the option of saying, I said so after that. But you can only say that for so long before you have a record. So I now have to, sort of, do you remember when you got all the answers and come back for you and do it?
All right, so continuing on. That was just a short little clip that I wanted to play that was important, that again was just showing, where the interviewee, Dr. Obielodan, where he had a chance to be able to go forth and stating, using his son as an example of teaching, and that views using him as an empty vessel. He is challenging his 7th grader to present information to his family at the end of the summer about the functioning of the human body. And he felt the need to do this is because he is interested in bringing his son up to a higher level, academically, so that he is exceeding what is needed of him as he goes forth and going into the 8th grade. So the reason I thought that was so pivotal is that he is giving an example that education should be challenging, not just in terms of cognitive abilities, but the fact that it should be challenging, in which we should challenge one another to do things that is kind of outside of the conventional zone. So I thought that was like really pivotal there. Question number 8, briefly describe your philosophy of teaching. So here, Dr. Obielodan, because he has been a professor for over 15, almost nearly 18 years now, his teaching philosophy is very expansive. Some of those key areas that he highlights is that he likes to be sure that there's a connecting value of education to immediate life, the value of life itself. And I believe that is because he's deeply rooted in theology, and also having a passion for teaching, and not even just passion for teaching, but more so instilling in students a higher calling to be transformative. So an example of that, and I have witnessed this firsthand, is that he does indeed call all of his students, hello, Mr. President, or good morning, Miss President, or, Mr. or Mrs. CEO, how are you today? Or Governor, if you'll go ahead and answer the question on page 3. I have witnessed Dr. Obielodan does this, including myself, that he calls me Mrs. Governor. I chuckled at it when I first met him, and but interviewing him, I found the reason why he does that, and that's because he said that he believed that he has a higher calling to where he is to parallel those he come across of excellence, to be committed to being excellent and being transformative in this world. And he stated that he does that so that when he calls someone president, hopefully they can see themselves as being indeed a president of either the university or either of the United States of America, and so forth. So in addition to that, his teaching philosophy also includes being a lifelong learner. It is noted that the last 3 years, he has attended classes specifically dealing with accounting analysis and decision making and so forth at Morehead State University. And the reason is that he want to be sure that he has a newness and a freshness in how understanding how students experience teaching and the learning process and those areas. So I thought that was really neat there. And in addition to, he's very innovative driven. So he does use a variety of technologies. He was the first to do a special project to where on the campus of Kentucky State University, he was mentioned in a magazine with a magazine, I think it was the Chronicle, to where he stated that his students, they were to present a case study on the effectiveness of the e-textbooks at the university, because the university has now went 100% e-textbooks. So, and we wanted to know the effects of that. So he took it upon himself in the teaching and learning process to allow his students to do a case study on the e-textbooks, learning about the company, learning about how they went forth and digitalizing the books and their method to ensure that, you know, students are learning electronically. And he's very student-centeredness. And in addition to that, he credits Robert Gagney's the 9 events of instruction, in which the following 9 are presented: gaining attention, such as reception, informing learners of the objective, which is what is being expected, stimulating recall of prior learning, the retrieval process, presenting the stimulus, selective perception, providing learning guidance, semantic encoding. Number 6, eliciting performance, in which he is responding to students, providing feedback, reinforcing what they should know as well as how well they're doing, assessing performance, the retrieval process again, and lastly, enhancing retention and transfer, generalization. So, and also too, he does state that he takes it upon himself to be sure that he is culturally competent, so that he can be able to support all types of diverse learning. Questions number 9 and 10 is that as a college student, do you have a former teacher that inspired you? And if so, what were the feelings and what did you admire most about the teachers? Again, Dr. James Obielodan is from Nigeria. He's Nigerian born and raised. And with that being said, he credits 2 of his former grade school teachers. One was his teacher, the second was the principal. And he stated that that both of them were very firm with students and that they instilled and expected that students were to do the right thing, but still they were friendly. He said it's hard to believe that a person can be able to have both concepts, being firm but being friendly. But he says that it is a matter of instilling a sense of a standard and what is expected of learners at an early age. And he also quotes that regardless of what you become, remember your roots, and that someone took investment of you. And this is the greatest gift that you can be able to give to someone, and a sense of investing and planting the seed in someone. He mentioned that when his mother passed away 3 years ago, his grade school teacher surprisingly came and visited the funeral. And that really blew him away, not only because the teacher was like a mentor and poured into him, but the fact that it was now, as they're older, a friend, and that he came and paid his respects. So he quoted that was really admirable. And then last but not least, kind of more recent, while he was a college student, while he was receiving his MBA, and then later became an adjunct visiting faculty at Michigan State University, he credits Dr. Gentry, the vice chair of philosophy, for indeed challenging him. It was times, because he has roots in theology, that some of the components and tenets of various philosophies he didn't agree with, or either he did agree with, but Dr. Gentry didn't. So they would have debates, fun debates, and they would be able to go back and forth with each other. And he said he credits Dr. Gentry for not only just being a mentor, but for allowing him to, for challenging him to think from various perspectives. So I also, at the end of this presentation, will provide a link to Dr. Obielodan's extensive teaching philosophy. This 2-page document is available online for his students, and he does provide it in his syllabi each term. Question number 11, describe a successful experience working with a diverse population of students. Well, again, Dr. Obielodan, he does teach both online and face-to-face. Something else concerning his professional development is that he's the faculty advisor for the Chi Alpha Christian organization here on campus of Kentucky State University. And he mentioned that he's worked with all types of students, and in particular, he credits one experience that really impacted him, and one was working with a foreign exchange student from South Korea. And 4 years ago, the young lady, after taking classes here, and went back to South Korea, she's consistently kept in contact with Dr. Obielodan, and just really more so for the fact that she appreciates his guidance and being a mentor. And she had some hardships while she was in South Korea. Well, some years going forward, she contacted him and asked for his opinion because she was interested in getting her graduate degree. And he assisted her, as he is the director of graduate studies here at KSU, and she later returned and completed her MBA. So Dr. Obielodan, quote, said, you know, he feels that he has a responsibility for planting seeds in his students and that they do well. Question number 12 is, what is your educational and professional preparation? So with that being said, as I stated earlier, his first degree was in theology. And with that being said, he said that to prepare, that you should have passion as well as a drive to do the right thing, not to, you know, passion and drive only solely for teaching, but, you know, just to do the right thing. In addition to that, the important here is that, you know, you want to not only maintain excellence in such as teaching and learning and the instruction process, but also but super excellence, meaning godly, to do the right thing. And he mentions that in his syllabus, although he does not force his religion upon students. Question number 13, what obstacles or challenges have you encountered as a teacher, and how did you successfully overcome them? So what's key here is that Dr. Obielodan, he, as earlier you saw in the clip, he does have a 7th grader, and also too, he has a younger child that is in elementary school, and he's married, and, you know, he has a family, and in addition to that, he has a lot of responsibilities to where he's an advisor, he works at his church, and he does a lot in the community, and so work-life balance is important to him. And what that means is that, you know, he feeds into being sure that he can be the best person he can be, the best husband, the best father, the best advisor, mentor, but also to the best professor. And so it's very important to make sure you maintain work-life balance. And I asked him specifically, well, how do you overcome these obstacles being pulled in so many different directions? And he mentions that he goes over, he'll go around, but he will never go under an obstacle because humorously, he just stated that it may crush him. So I thought that was pretty funny. So question number 14, what are your views on student support? How does your support differ between modalities? I added this question because of the focus on student support. And I found really interesting here. He said that his goal is to be sure to make it difficult for all his students to fail. And that's kind of like a way to look at it in reverse, is that he is letting his students know his goal is that he wants them to succeed. So he said he makes it very hard for them to fail. But also he does instill a certain expectation that they will indeed be motivated to do well. And but he does state that his student support, a couple of examples is that for his undergraduates, they do come to his office or contact him by email consistently for hands-on assistance. And those online students, he does return inquiries within 24 to 48 hours. And this too is located in his teaching philosophy within his syllabus. And many of those online students, they do contact him through Blackboard messaging. So there's a record kept of all inquiries. Question number 15, what kind of students do you prefer teaching? And also too, what type of students could you teach most effectively? So here we find that again, in the last 15 years, Dr. Obielodan has taught online undergraduate classes and just recently graduate MBA courses. And he said that he found this question a little hard to answer because, there's not a particular type of student that he prefers to teach. He just loves all of his students because he is passionate about the teaching and learning process. He does state that it is a little bit easier to gauge when students need assistance when it is face-to-face type instruction. But he still, again, prefers, to work with every type of a learner. But he does try to stay away concerning discipline. He does try to stay away from business statistics and like quantitative methods, teaching those online because the subject matter can be quite demanding to the students. So questions 16 and 17, it was posed that if he was tenured and if he was not, when he was going to go up for promotion. And if he was tenured, what type of advice would he give an aspiring college student? So Dr. Obielodan, yes, he is tenured and he serves on and has been serving over the last 12 years on various committees at Kentucky, faculty senate at Kentucky State University. And in addition to that, he did say that he does speak with many budding new professors. And he, humorously again states that don't try to solve all the world's problems all at once. But he did say that, professionally and helping with the teaching, helping with the professional development, as well as scholarship and research, it is important for new professors to consciously speak with their chairs and to negotiate time to be able to do research and to publish. He said that is very important to the promotion process for tenure. And then in addition to that, he does say informally that every new professor should seek out and to get a mentor their first year to help guide them through the, upcoming years as they go forth with teaching as well as scholarship and research. And he said that the expectation, faculty, they should always understand what's expected of them. So to be sure to read the faculty handbook very carefully. And he did express the emphasis is that read that handbook very carefully so that you know what is expected of you and your rights and so forth. And last but not least, question number 18. It was posed that in 3 words, what he would use, what 3 words could describe his teaching strengths, and one in which was relevance, leadership, and accountability. And these were posed by saying, as he emphasized, that knowledge should be relevant and that leadership in terms of, what a student should know, they should be self-learners. And then also that it's a responsibility to where these students, a responsibility he feels as professors, we have a responsibility that students do well and they go forth with their future in school, and also that they do well going forth and doing what God wants them, to do, which is to be kind and to love to one another and to love God. And also the knowledge should reflect back to the institution, in this case, Kentucky State University. So again, my name is Jennifer Miles, and again, this is a presentation for the requirements for the college teaching course, EDL 830 with Dr. Sherwood Thompson. And as you see here, there's a couple of references in which the questions were posed from. Dr. Phyllis Bloomberg, Dr. Sherwood Thompson, and Dr. Beverly Burnell and Heidi Schnakenberg. And there's a couple of notations made, such as the positioning and the quality of the instrument used. And that was because of the space. Dr. Obielodan is very, very busy, and he does not have a lot of space, unfortunately, in his office. So we had to find a little nook to where we could set up the recording device. So that altered a full viewing of himself And I wanted to note that there. And last but not least, for the entire interview, which was a little over an hour and a half long, the interview can be found here at the following link. And I'll also post this in Blackboard so that it can be shared with others. So again, my name is Jennifer Miles, and I would like to say thank you for tuning in to my presentation about higher education, college teaching. Thank you.